We are back for another 7 weeks until this has to be done. We're under 7 weeks now, so we are back on the countdown to the Hot Rod Willys finish. Thanks for tuning back in. Today might be a little triggering for some people, so if you have a sensitive stomach, you might want to X off this video right now. For the rear fenders on the Hot Rod, I'm going to be using flat fender front fenders. Now bear with me, I have a vision in mind, but unfortunately that's going to involve cutting up a new set of fenders, but it's okay, it's for a good cause. So I don't really want fenders at all on this. I like the hot rod style look, but since this isn't a street rod and it's going to be driven on the road, I don't want rocks and mud flying up, and also to be street legal I have to have fenders out to the tires. So it's going to have fenders. They're probably going to get smashed, but that's okay. So these pickup truck or FC bed supports, the front one, if you notice, is shorter, so the fender is going to be right up here and come back and down. Some people are going to think it looks weird. I think it's going to be unique, and I like that it'll still be using Willys Jeep parts. And yes, I have to cut them a little bit, but that's really no different than, you know, painting them or modifying them and putting them on another Jeep. It's still a fender, it's still going to be on a Jeep, and it's still going to serve a purpose. You know, some people are going to be like, oh, it's going to hit the fender. These don't flex that much, and I'll have the bump stops in place, so I don't want to come up any higher than this, and I want to make sure the fender tucks, or the tire tucks inside the fender. But as you know, with Willys, they really don't flex that much, and we'll just make sure the bump stops hit just in time before they contact the sheet metal. Also, I can change, I have spacers on the back just to keep the track width the same, but they can be taken off, and that'll bump it. I have 2-inch spacers on here right now. I can go to 1 inch or take them off completely. The back spacing on these wheels is really extreme because I didn't want to run spacers up front. So even without a spacer, it still sticks out far enough to clear the calipers and the suspension and things like that. So don't worry, everything will be tacked in place, and we'll flex it and check everything. And I'll probably even fit it with and without spacers. And it could be one of those situations, I don't want them out past the tire because they'll definitely hit trees and stuff. But here in Pennsylvania, you have to cover the whole tire tread to be legal. I know a lot of guys don't, but I'd like the ability to be totally legal if I'm doing a lot of street driving and things like that. So, you know, if I'm going on a long road trip and I don't need the suspension flex or the tires, I can pop the spacers off, and that will gain 2 inches on both sides. So there's some options there, so stay calm, and don't worry, we have a plan. But before I can tack them to the body, I have to start cutting, which I don't like cutting good new parts, but like I said, you have to make sacrifices. Just like when I do an engine swap, you got to cut off motor mounts, you got to put a bump in the tub or cut the firewall out. There's things like that, and you kind of get used to doing it after a while. And those reservations I've found lead people to not try things. So like when I put the diesel in the blue Jeep, people were losing their mind because they cut the firewall, and none of this stuff is original historical piece. These are reproduction fenders. My tub had so many new panels in it, it wasn't original anymore either. And none of my Jeeps are museum pieces, so I've never lost any sleep over cutting them up. But I have had great enjoyment out of making those mods, and you know, just digging in. Once you do it, after the first spark, it's fine. So don't ever let that stop you, and don't ever let anybody tell you you can't modify that, it's original. Well, they're only original once, and as soon as they get scratched or you change something, it's not original anymore. So if you put the money into it, you do it however you want. In order to get these to fit flat against the bed the way I want them to, I'm going to have to remove the bump out here. This is where the battery goes on a flat fender. There's some things inside the engine bay, so I don't need that. So we're going to drill these spot welds out, remove this panel, cut off the inner brace, and then cut off part of this inner fender well, bend some flanges on it to fit the body, and weld it to the side of my bed. The first step in this little adventure is to remove this inner piece. So I'm gonna cut the welds off the brace, and then I'm gonna drill out the spot welds for this piece. And then I'll probably plate it with a piece of flat sheet metal so that it's one consistent shape, and then rebuild the brace so that it fits flat, because this will also get into tire clearance. I want to keep the tire in as far as possible, and we lose about 3.5 inches here. So I'm going to drill the spot welds and get that out. One tool I really use a lot around here that I like is from Harbor Freight, believe it or not. These little spot weld drillers, they work great, and they're only like $4.99. The cutter has 2 sides. You know, they don't last terribly long. If you're not being careful, you'll break a tooth. And these little plunger, the spring tip, I've had them blow apart and snap off, but for the price compared to, like, you know, one of the name brand ones from other manufacturers, you can buy 3 of these for the price of 1. And like I said, you have 2 cutter sides, and then I just save them. Like if the plunger's still good and the cutter's bad, I'll throw it in the toolbox, and then if I break a plunger, just thread this new cutter on and you'll be good to go. This isn't sharp enough to be a good pilot, so I always take like a 1/16 inch bit and just drill where I want it to stay. Then it won't walk around so much. So that's just kind of a tip I found over the years. And I've also been using this Anchor lube. I'm not affiliated with them. They sent me one of these to try, and I've been using it for a while. It's, you know, for cutting and tapping, but I found it really good for drilling, and it doesn't sling everywhere and make a big mess, and it cleans off really easy. And to paint over it afterwards, you don't have to be super careful because it is water-based, so it doesn't cause fisheye and things like that. So I'm going to put a little of this on the cutter. That'll make it last longer, and I'll get this piece removed. You don't have to go in very deep. You don't even have to drill all the way through. You're just kind of creating a dimple. It's easy to see the spot welds since these just have a little bit of primer on them. And I don't want to go through both panels. I just want to drill into that outer piece. So that's it. I'll go around and do each spot weld, and then I'll get the cutter out. So when I'm using this, I just put a little bit of lube on it. And don't use a ton of pressure, and keep it on a slow speed. You can usually feel or hear a change in the tone of the cutter when you punch through. And if there's a gap at all, you'll feel a little thunk. And then on old stuff, you usually see a little puff of rust come out, and that tells you that you're through the panel. Because depending on what you're doing, here it doesn't matter so much, but you don't want to go through both pieces. And a lot of times you'll get it paper thin, and then you can just pry it and it pops right off. But it's a really nice way to preserve your parts instead of just grinding it down or drilling a big hole. These little guys work quite well. And I've done 20 or 30 spot welds on one side of the cutter before I've had to change it. But the slower you go and the more lube you use, the longer this cutter will last. I had to take this brace off to get, there's a spot weld right behind that. So you can see here, once you drill them out, this is what you're left with. They don't really prime on the inside, I guess. They had a couple little spot welds or tack welds that weren't a spot welder, so I had to grind them off, and they had them doubled up down here. So as you cut them, you'll kind of see where the welding is. But then if you go to reuse this piece, you can use your MIG welder and clamp it and then plug weld that and take a flap disc, grind it smooth, and it'll look just as good as original. And that looks way better than having tack welds on the side like that. So really cool tool, very handy, and makes for a clean job. So now that that brace is off, I can get to this. I guess there's 2 welds, one there, and then move on to fully removing that panel. I got the panel welded in, so that little bump out is pretty much gone now. And I just put it in the brake and put I think it's about just shy of an inch, maybe 7/8 flange on that. And that's 90 degrees to the top of the fender, so the bedside will go right there. And then once it's all done, and I know it's where I want it to be, I'm going to cut this off. This has the correct bend in it already, and then I'll have 2 mounting holes here if I want to put bolts in it. Which I probably will do. I might even put one up a little higher just to help give the fender some rigidity. This is the original mount that goes to the frame. So it's a pretty easy piece to fit in, and I think it turned out pretty good. And once it's all said and done, you won't even see that was there. And now I have quite a bit more room for wheel travel, because you can see I removed this piece, so I gained you know, the thickness of that, which is pretty substantial. Plus I got rid of, the way this is going on the body, that would have turned into a big dirt trap slash rust prone area. So now I'm ready to start kind of mocking it up on the bed and making sure I have the right depth and keep it level and everything like that. Since you guys can't really see what I'm seeing in my brain, I'll just give you a quick taste of how it's going to sit in here. So it's going to be something about like that. So it'll be level. I have to trim some off the back. So it'll be somewhere about in there. So I think it's going to be kind of cool. It's still going to have that flat Fender Jeep vibe, but with a little twist. Made some progress. I got one fender fitted. So here's what it looks like up underneath. I'm making it so I decided to bolt it on. That way if I need to remove it and replace it or repair it or anything, it's not going to disturb the bed. So they'll be painted separately. That will also prevent rust and stuff from getting in here. I'll probably just bolt it straight to it, because welting will just hold moisture. And this won't be driven in the salt, so it should be just fine. So it's got like 8 bolts across the bottom, and then on the top I came off this bedside brace and have countersunk screws in here. So I'm going to do brass on all the hardware, so I think that'll really pop from the blue paint. And then so it's pretty darn sturdy, but I'm going to have a brass rod, probably one here, here, and down here, and that'll really hold it to the bed. And I'll probably put a flat plate across the bottom so it has bigger surface area on the bedside, because over time, you know, you flex sheet metal enough, it will crack. So but it's pretty darn sturdy. It's pretty light too, since I gutted the whole inside and the brace, but the brace does come down and is welded here and capped off. And then I think I'm going to make an arched piece to fill in here just to make it look nicer. And the original inner fender well really makes a nice splash guard, so it'll protect the bed from gravel and things like that. And then on the back side, the little splash guard fills in that gap rather nicely. And then I'll have a brass rod. So it'll be a long bolt with a brass rod outer shell, and I'll polish them up. I think that'll look pretty nice. I'm going to weld and fill all these holes because we won't need them anymore, and then probably do some sort of retro looking mud flap. But I think it looks pretty darn cool. Good coverage, and if it still makes a mess driving it, I can always add a little rubber flap on the edge, but I really don't want it sticking out too much because it'll just get smashed. And I'm fully aware this corner will probably get, and if it does, I'm just gonna kind of bob it in narrower, because as you back up against rocks and trees, I could see that being a problem. It's still less obtrusive than a stock Jeep tub, but it's kind of vulnerable there. I could extend this out and make some rock protection, but we'll just kind of see what we get into. And if it's a dry day, I know it's not going to be muddy, just a couple bolts and I can take the whole fender right off, because at the parks and trails you don't need fenders, so that's why it's bolted and not welded. Some people will think it's weird, but I think it's going to be pretty cool, and I really like the minimalist look of the fender. So I'm going to slap this wheel back on and show you what it looks like. So there it is with the wheel and tire on. It comes out real close to the edge of the tire, so it's plenty good enough to be legal, and I'll have a mud flap on there as well. Now I just have to repeat the whole process again on the other side. This fender is going to be a little easier to work with since it doesn't have that indentation here on the side where the battery would go. This is the driver's side fender, so it's going to be a little faster to completion. On the last one I just cut right on this seam, and then I slid it up about an inch and bent a flange inward, and removed this little mounting tab because we're not using that. So that's what I'm going to do here. This distance is the same on both sides, so I'm just going to cut that out, bend the flange, and then we'll see where I have to put this brace. All right, it's out in the daylight with the fenders for the first time. It's starting to look like a truck. It almost looks like it got rear-ended by a flat fender. It's goofy, but I love it. So you can still read the fuel level. And the bottom one just clears down there. It's gonna get all dirty, but it's still there. I had one little oopsie while I was mounting it, but I've got lots of holes to plug. But they're on there. But I dig it. It's looking good. She's running a little rich, but it's the first time it's really been out of the garage in about 2 months. So there's a little perspective with the slider steps I did the other day and the fenders. So from here back, it's pretty much ready to paint. And since the front end isn't attached, yeah, I still need to do front fenders, but I can start painting the bed and doing the final body work on the back section. What a goofy little truck bed, huh? Just enough for a cooler and a tent. I love it. So I'm gonna leave you with that. I don't know where we're gonna go in the next video, but we're gonna keep working on it every single day until it's done. I have a little over 6 weeks left and I'm feeling optimistic. Thanks for watching. Catch you later.